Hello and welcome to Reflections of a Honey. It's me, Coco Mel. Today I feel inspired to talk about one of the things that I reflect on the most, and that is my decision to go through the process of ego death. I don't even know if that's what it's called. That's what I'm going to call it today. Because along this journey, one of the things, as I mentioned before, that I had to do for myself was detach from everyone that I was in communication with. And by everyone besides the people that I live with. And even sometimes them too. Just kidding. It's been a process. At first, it was the hardest thing to do. First, let me back up and just say that I realized, before I done that, I realized that I'm the type of person that soaks up other people's energies unintentionally. It's just who I am. I'm not going to even say that because that's kind of like it's not who I am. It's a part of who I am. My personality. It was a part of my personality. Just soaking up people's energy. And if I really care about somebody, it's almost like if they get cut, I feel it. And it was a lot of drama in and out. People have drama. That's just what life is. A lot. Most of the time, for most people, is drama. But I am not one for drama. I don't like drama. It hurts my stomach. I start feeling sick when I get into dramatic situations, like things that bring drama into my life. It's too much for me. And I realized this. I had worked at this job for over a decade. And this job was, just your regular drama sitcom place. There's drama around every corner. Some of it people just call life, because that's just what it is. But it had become too much for me, and I realized that I was getting sick, like physically sick, to the point where I couldn't eat. I was losing weight, because when I get stressed out and get like that, a lot of people stress eat. I don't. I'm the opposite. My stomach gets all twisted up and I can't eat. The thought of food makes me nauseous. Anyway, beside the point. I was realizing that my days were going up, down, emotionally. I was emotionally invested in the conversations that I was having with the people that I love. There was a up, down. People having relationship issues, people having family issues. Like, it's not that their problems or whatever, their issues weren't important to me. It was because their issues were important to me. And sometimes, people would just need somebody to talk to, and so they would talk to me about it, because for me, I don't know why they did it, but I feel like they did it because they know, I'm a trustful person, besides the fact that I'm just super cool. But and then it's like, I'm stumbling over my words. I apologize. I'm a little bit sleepy, but it took a toll on me to be like, 1 minute it's a up, the next minute it's a down. And I still have issues with centering my own energy, like centering myself in my own energy and not taking on other people's problems like they're my problems. I think that's one of the flaws of mine, because when someone else is agitated, I get agitated. Even if they don't say they're agitated, because I'm more of a energetic, I don't know, I can feel the energy. Like, even if it's just a certain look on your face, I feel like, and I could possibly be wrong, to be honest, and maybe this is where the misery of my life comes in, but I feel like I can see people's emotions just written on their face. And it makes me feel some type of way. But anyway, okay, back to the point. I might have to start all the way over with this. I'll have to decide that later. But the point was that I was too entwined with other people's life, and I didn't really realize what part of their life, what part of my reaction in life or to life was mine, and how much of that was just the remnants, my reaction to them, or even just their expectation of me. How much of me was the expectation of that I feel they had on me? Like, let's just say somebody is used to you celebrating their every win, and then one day you realize, not that you don't feel celebratory, you just don't feel the need to be ecstatic. You don't even try to put on a face like you want to be ecstatic. You could be ecstatic inside. You could just say calmer words, or just say, that's really good, instead of being like, oh my God, we have to celebrate. And that's not me, though. I'm just saying, just an example. And I had to sit back with myself and realize that what part of every single day when I'm interacting with people, how much of that is really me, and how much of it is the expectations that I know this particular person has over me or on me or whatever. And so slowly but surely I just started, because certain things were happening and it would make me feel so upset. Like, why is it upsetting me so much? My expectation of this person, that I expect them to see that I've done this, I've been there, I'm this, I'm that. And then I realized that we don't owe each other shit. Not only that, I don't even know myself. And so I detached from the world. I did. And first it was like, I'm so mad at everybody for being this and not understanding me and blah, blah, blah. Even though I made a conscious decision, I was kicking and screaming. I don't care. Whatever. I'm a brat. But then it got to be sad, because I was sad because I never let anybody push me away. How come everybody let me push them away? And how come nobody asks how I'm doing? How come nobody calls to check on me? How, all these different things that I was like, still in that mode, just different. Just a different version of it, And then I got to the point where I was not numb, like the equivalent of numb, but not, I was just calm. I was just mellow. And didn't have a up or a down. And I was cool. And I was just continuously learning about myself and about things that I enjoy learning about. And this has been quite the process. Let me be honest. It's been quite the process. And honestly, I feel like I am in slow motion. It's quite embarrassing if you ask me, because I feel like I haven't gotten anywhere. Although I do see signs of improvement, or even just growth. Sometimes growth is going from sadness and depression to anger. Although I'm not saying that's where I was at, but I'm just saying like that's still growth. At least that's what I think the therapist said on the podcast or some shit I watched. But anyway. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm in the in-between zone where I have deconstructed most of my, not almost all, but a lot of my, how about that? A lot of my old personality. It's just too much work to be, I don't know, something I'm not. And I'm not saying, it's like I didn't realize I was being something I'm not. I'm not in the beginning, before I even started this deconstruction process. It was just conditioned into my lifestyle, into who I am. It's like we all are doing that. We're all doing that. I know some really authentic people, but for the most part, we're all just being exactly who the hell we think the world sees us as. If you go to a friend's house and y'all used to partying and kicking it or whatever, you may be the type of person that's not into partying and kicking it no more. But if you happen to hear a song or something like that, and that's a song that you and your best friend used to dance to and whatever, blah, blah, blah. If that song came on and you were nonchalant about it and your friend was excited about it, you know deep down inside a part of your friend's feelings would be hurt, because in mentally you'd be probably processing it as they think I don't care or something like that. So you're gonna react. This is just an example, it's just something that could probably be relatable to anyone. But so a part of you is gonna feel like getting up and dancing just because you don't want your best friend or your whoever that person is to feel like you don't care. Because then in your mind, then you would probably have to feel like you would have to prove that you do care, or you have to start worrying about if that's going to end the friendship, just stuff like that. We might not think about it, but we might not think about it like that up front. But if we know that a person that we're around, or we used to be around most of the time, unless you're just one of those people that's just like, you know what, I don't dance to that anymore. I love it still for what it is, but I don't really dance to it anymore. Just how much of our everyday nonchalant going through the day as normal is natural, and how much of it is just embedded over periods of time and over relationships. Like if you were to walk into a store every single day and the same thing happens, you say hello to the cashier or somebody that you've been seeing this person for 10 years or even maybe 1 year, and every single day it never fails, this person says the same thing. If you walk in and that person says something else that's not even close to what they used to say, it would throw you off. And I think because of that, we subconsciously just do things because we don't like that weirdness about people. It makes us feel uncomfortable. It makes me feel uncomfortable. How about that? But so yeah, and now I'm in that middle space where I have done partial deconstruction. I'm still in the process of that. I think it's going to be an everlasting process. But working towards figuring out not a replacement, but introducing a new personality or a new version of myself to be, or like who do I want to be, and what will that person, just try to create that new me that has the values and things that I find important now. Like what happens if I'm in this type of situation? How do I handle that? So that's where I'm at. And that's just such an awkward spot because every day I have to think like, what would I do? just in different situations. Like, there are some triggering things, though. One of the problems that I have is I just get irritated quickly. Throughout this whole process, I realized that my tolerance for other people's bullshit is very low. So, trying to get rid of those triggers is kind of like a challenge. But I realize, though, that like on another level, I feel like my job is meant to point those things out to me. I know that sounds crazy, but that's how I really feel. I feel like my job is meant to push those trigger buttons or whatever triggers, push the triggers, and I'm supposed to figure out, because now I have to make a decision. How am I going to think, act, feel, react, respond, whatever you want to call it, to these things that trigger me on a level that I'm not even really aware of. Most of the time, I have to catch myself. And it makes me think, like, where am I going wrong in my time, in my life, that's causing these triggers to keep coming up? Like, what is it trying to show me? What am I thinking? Where's my thinking wrong or something? And that's difficult. One of the most difficult things, not really most difficult, I guess it is, in a sense, pretty damn difficult when you need to look in the mirror and see what part of your life is messed up because of you. Like, where am I causing more problems for myself by not fixing these problems? Whatever's triggering me. I might not post this video. If I do, kudos to me. Because I'm not feeling it. I'm tired. I get like 3 or 4, sometimes 5, on a good day, 6 hours of sleep. And today was one of the lesser days. And working under those conditions, and it seems like, see, this is where I'm faulty, but it seems like when I'm feeling the worst, not the worst, but that's going to be another topic though, too, but when I'm feeling like I need something, that's when it's less likely to show up. But like I said, that's a very flawed way of thinking. I'm working on that. I am figuring out things about myself that, like that, I would have never imagined it that way. Because in my mind, it's not me, it's them. You know what I mean? Like, that's how we think sometimes. I've thought that way for a long time. But the thing that changed my mind about thinking that way was my relationships. They all kind of have similar things that happen in them that makes them not last. And so that's what I've been spending my time trying to figure out, which I have figured some things out. One of them is that my trust issues get in my way of more than just my relationships, but it gets in the way of a lot of things. I realized that the loss of my brother kind of triggers a part of me that thinks everybody is out to get me. I don't know what I can do about that. I'm trying to figure that out, because to me it just seems normal that that's how I am. Like, when you're in a thought process, you don't stop to think, why do I think this way? Well, at least I didn't used to. Thinking like that wasn't really a thing for me at first. To just say, like, why is it that I think that way? Like, is this really the case? Because a lot of people just go on thinking that the way that they think is just, it's not me, it's them type thinking. And I had to stop and realize that that's not true. That's not true. It can't be everybody. It can't be everybody else, and I have nothing to do with this. If there's a thing in your life that keeps coming up, even if it takes you a long time to even want to check it out, just give it some thought, because you might find that you're more trouble than you think you are. Especially people who have never even had any kind of idea, or whatever. You haven't had a reason to look in the mirror and say, oh, it's me. And sometimes you have to be the reason. You don't know what you don't know, though, and that's a very strong thing. You don't know what you don't know. And when you do know, you can't ignore it. You got to figure something out. It's going to bother the mess out of you until you do. Even on a level that you might not even be aware of that's what's bothering you. You'll realize that just because you're not aware, you had that. I guess some of the stuff I'm saying isn't making sense. Excuse me, because that's how I'm feeling right now. But sometimes even the slightest bit of awareness makes you, it could drive you crazy, knowing that and not doing anything about it, or not trying to pay attention to it somehow. So I've spent all this time since my brother passed away. Because that same year, it wasn't like within 9 months, I lost my brother, my father, and also a son. And through that time, it's just like, and then the ways that they died was like, it made me feel like no one is safe. No one is safe. And that added to the paranoia that I already felt. So there's a little bit of me. That's another reason. Let me use that to say that that's another reason why I lost it. Jiminy. I can't remember what I was going to say. That's annoying. That's one reason why I'm all over the place, and sometimes I drag stuff on and stuff like that, because I lose my words a lot. I've been flabbergasted by how much attention I've been on the same subject or even the same topic or whatever, because that's not easy for me. It's like when I lost my brother, I went completely silent. And during that time, a little part of me went a little cuckoo. And it makes me think about this time when, before my brother passed away, I knew I didn't know him before he was like the way he is now, but I knew somebody, and their cousin was like, I guess before, when I met him, he was a little bit, you could tell he wasn't all the way there. It's almost like to me, I could feel him like bumping against the wall in his mind, because he was saying new things. Actually, he didn't say much, but when he did, it wouldn't make sense. It's like he couldn't put his words together. That's what I was going to say. It's like when I went mute for a year, I realized that when I started back talking, I couldn't match anything up. Like, it took me a long time to even get where I'm at now as far as like speaking. It's like there's so much fear or whatever is going on mentally, emotionally, that it's almost like I lost the ability to really communicate and talk, especially if I know somebody's listening to me, watching me, or if it's something that, if I take my eyes, like I can't look at a person when I'm talking, because looking in their eyes, my mind wanders. Anyway, this boy, at the time he was a boy, he's a grown ass man, but like I said, he would say things and they wouldn't make sense. And I asked his cousin, like, what happened? He was like, I don't know, man. He had his shit together. He was going to college. He had his own apartment. He had a girlfriend. He was doing his thing. He had a bunch of money in his pocket all the time. And I guess he just got tired of it and started acting like this. I'm like, something's wrong with him. Something inside of his brain snapped. And the reason why I push people to take care of themselves in a way that this society calls it soft, you know. But the thing about me is that I've reached a point, when I lost my brother, I reached a point before I even lost my father or my son that I felt like there was a little part of me that I was losing. I was losing that mental strength. Something in me mentally was leaving me, and I can feel it happening. And because of that, I always push people to remember that you don't have to be whatever this world says you need to be at any given moment. You don't. I understand that strength is important when you're going through something, and I get if you don't want the world to see you down and all this other stuff, but I think that it's important for people to really understand how they work, because people will keep pushing, and next thing you know, like physically, you might get hurt if you're pushing that hard, like at work or just in general. But you can also push too hard mentally and emotionally too. And I'm not a professional by any means in these areas. Let me just put that out there. And what I say is just my opinion. It's just from my experience. But I know that something in me was going away. And I could tell that something in him had already left. It's almost like he was a shell of a person, or like he was looking for a way out of his mind or something like that. And I just wanted to help him, but I don't know. There is no but. I just wanted to help him. But everybody else, like his family members and stuff, was like really brushing it off. Like, people don't just turn their mind off like that. That's not how it works. They don't just go one day from having this specific whatever to being crazy, doing stuff that makes no sense. He would just be sitting there, all of a sudden he'd just start laughing, and they might contribute it to, well, there's some of that in his bloodline or whatever. Like, no, I'm sorry. Regardless, I don't know if that stuff can be passed down like that. Something triggered it, regardless of if it is something in his bloodline or whatever. Something triggered it. Something traumatic happened in his life that he had to take himself away from. This is what I feel. I don't know if this is true. He had to take himself away from that by any means without getting hurt more. So he probably created this personality that made him disappear from changing to being the person that he is now, or from the person that he once was. And I hate that we don't ask each other those questions or try to support each other. Everybody's not built tough like that. You know, I work with a bunch of people who are just so strong in that way. I even know a lot of people who are. And it's like, to me, it could still happen, but to me, like, I have a mom who's always had some kind of health issue since before I was born. And it got even worse once I was born. Like, after I was born, I remember being in kindergarten, having to leave. Come home and mom not be there for like a month. So, I don't know, I feel like I'm an advocate, and I say that like without like really meaning it. Like, I don't advocate for it. But I'm the type of person, I believe, that the way you feel mentally, it is 101 degrees. Goodness gracious. The way you feel, if you feel yourself going a little bit crazy, quit trying to fill the shoes of being everybody for everyone, or trying to be this person that, Like, you can't be everything. You can't be strong and some of the other things. Okay, I'm not gonna say that. You can be strong and whatever, but like, some people believe that crying is a weakness. To me, and I think, I want to say, I'm gonna look it up, but I think I heard someone say that crying, anything that our body like gets rid of, comes out, like when we pee, poop, whatever. Excuse me for those nasty, disgusting things to say, but anytime, sorry y'all, I'm dressed, I had to put overclothes. I put these on so I can come out and change my sweaty clothes from the day into another fresher pair of clothes. But anyway, whenever our body pushes things out, including tears, snot, when we use the restroom, sweat, all of those things are ways for our body to release things. And sometimes, like, I don't know if you know anybody like this, but I know a few people, a couple, I ain't gonna say a few. I know at least 2 people who, they refuse to cry. Now, I don't know what they do in their private time, but they're both people who say they refuse to cry. And they have, like, their tear ducts are swollen. They're all puffy and stuff. Like, not like how mine is a little bit swollen, like I don't get no sleep. Theirs are like right here, right up in here, just swollen. Like, at least make your eyes water or something. I don't know if that's the same thing, but it's necessary. And I'm not just saying everybody should be walking around wallowing and boo-hooing all over the place. No, but if you in the shower, because with little kids, people don't want to cry in front of their kids, and I get that, because I didn't want to cry in front of mine either at first. When they were little and they didn't understand why a person would want to be crying, and they could sense the unhappiness and the sadness, the bathroom was my best friend. I was in there all the time, singing my songs, taking a shower, not dancing, but crying, and just letting out all the emotions, saying all my prayers. And when I got out, got myself together, I felt much better. It's not going to work the same for everybody, and I do understand that. But if there's a part of you that feels like you just need to cry, just do it. Cry. Tears are just, people are not meant to be living the way that we live. I just feel like it's so unnatural how we live. I'm not like saying that we should all quit our jobs and, homestead and all that other stuff or whatever. I just feel like we're not meant to be the way that we are. I think that's where I started this original video. I might not have posted that one though. I don't think I did. I think I erased it, but it just, I'm not. How about that? I feel like I am not meant for this world. My mind works so much different than the people around me, or maybe the people that people are willing to admit around me. And that's alright with me, honestly. Shit. I'm okay with that. Y'all might stop seeing my face. I don't really know if I'm going to post my face on this video anymore. Now that I just wanted it to be known that I'm not, I'm just really shy. I'm very shy. Or else I would do this in other places where I can actually focus on the camera. I don't want to do that though. That sounded really messed up, but when I look, like I said, it's just like looking at somebody's eyes. If I do that, I'm going to get so distracted, because then I got to be looking in my own eyes. And I don't know. It would still distract me. My eyes are mesmerizing. But mental health. Watch out for your mental health, because once it goes, that's the thing, that the reason why I push so hard on people watching out for their mental health, because like I just said, once it goes, how are you going to get it back? If you're not mentally stable, nobody can tell you that you're not mentally stable. Because your mental is, at least this is how I feel. I feel like if I had gotten to the point where I believe that I'm not mentally unstable, I'm not mentally stable, but I'm saying and doing things that are not like me, they don't make sense or whatever, and it's clear that I'm a little bit, something's wrong. But if you don't know that, you're not aware of that, because if you're, it's like you can't fill the cup if you don't know the cup. Like, I don't know where I was going with that, but how are you supposed to fix it if you don't know it's a problem? That's why I'm like, be careful of how you take care of yourself. If you feel, because I feel it. And especially these days, I'm so in tune. Well, not so in tune, but I'm really in tune with my psyche, if anything. But my body, when something don't feel right, I can almost immediately feel it. Take it seriously, because once it goes, then what? Imagine somebody needing to take care of you, and they got to make decisions for you, and they got to treat you like a little baby, or don't let her out of your sight. You don't know, she might wander out. Like, I don't want that to be me. I don't want to be the type of person that has some kind of health scare that potentially like cripples me or takes my life or something like that. And I know, I ain't gonna say I know, because I don't know this for sure, but the way that my body reacts to stress, it's like an overwhelming, like some people say, that stuff isn't gonna break you. Well, for some people it might. And I don't claim to be weak, okay? I don't care what nobody says. Just because I'm highly sensitive like that, it doesn't make me weak. And I'm never going to accept that, period. So if that's what you think of me, it is what it is. But I'm just, like I said, highly sensitive, as well as, what was I going to say? Just being raised around a person that allowed everything all the time. The way that stress makes me feel, it just feels like too much. It feels like if I don't stop now, something's gonna happen. And I don't want to live like that. I don't want to think somebody has to take care of me, especially not my kids. They're way too young to me to be the one to do anything for me. Take care of your mental. Take care of yourself in general. But if you go crazy, who's going to stop you? You can't stop you. You can't stop you from being crazy. I mean, if you understand how I'm trying to say it, I'm probably not saying it the best, but it's like an angry person that doesn't know that they're angry. You can't tell them that they're an angry person, because they don't fucking see it. So they stay angry. If a crazy person doesn't know that they've gone crazy, plus, can you